All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're recording, and we want to welcome everyone to the Elevation Call. This is Team Unlimited Elevation Call that we do every week at 7 o'clock. We have you muted. We may call on some of you after a while to share, but really glad you're here. One of the first things that we want to do each week is to welcome the new people. I think we've done that, or people who haven't been on. Let's see, the names we've already mentioned. If there's any of you who have any new team members on, or if this is your first Elevation Call, first or second, would you just unmute and tell us your name and where you're calling in from? Anybody new?
I know Pam Riley just said that she's dialing in.
Hi, I'm here, Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona. Nice to be here.
Pam.
You look amazing. Look at your skin, girl.
Oh, well, thank you. So I've been out transplanting flowers and watering, so I just ran inside. But anyway, but thank you.
I've never
Glad
seen
you're on.
Pam. I've
beautiful.
talked to her, but I've never seen her. So it's great to see you here. on
Our
Zoom.
Arizona team. Woohoo!
All right.
Anybody else want to say hi that's new or first time on Elevation?
I'll say hi. I must have said no video. I might go back out and come in with the video. But hi, I'm Kay Dartman in Omaha, Nebraska.
Hey,
Yay, Kay.
we know you're going to get on.
Yeah,
So.
awesome. And I believe Janice Skaggs is on for the first time as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and there's Julia, so we can get started for sure now. You guys, thank you for being so consistent.
Hey, thanks for waiting.
Yeah, Julia.
We didn't wait. We just got you jumped.
I know, I was joking.
No, I was waiting for Julia to get on. Well, listen, guys, for those of you who are new, you might be kind of wondering why we put such an emphasis on the Elevation Call. And this really is our team meeting. And as our team has expanded from just Evansville, Indiana, to Arkansas, and then other places in between, we now are really creating a global team. But tonight we're going to talk about building the asset of Zilis, because what we do in this business is really twofold. One of the things that's the way I started was really creating a movement to really take back our health by fueling the endocannabinoid system of the body. That was really the first thing that grabbed my attention. My son had a great result from the product we call Ultracell, one of our hero products. And there we go. I'm going to mute the call. And then secondly, this is one that we're going to really talk about today, is really about taking back our wealth. And we're going to focus on really building the residual asset of Zilis, what that is and what it is not. Really because of the video that I posted on Team Unlimited by Tim Sales, which is a great overview. We're going to actually refer to that. But I'm going to have Hal give us a little rundown on the top leaderboard before we get started.
One of the things that I emphasize on building your income, which ultimately builds an asset for you, well, we'll talk about a little bit more tonight. Another way of saying it is, how do you become successful? How do you make money in Zilis? There's a number of ways, but I will tell you that the core basic way that we build immediate and long-term income and help others do the same thing is that we show people the opportunity and product, and then we enroll them as a part of the Zilis family, enrollment. And we don't do that by ourselves. We do that with our upline, but the event of enrolling new people guarantees pay for you every Friday that you had previously enrolled someone during the week. Now, Zilis also recognizes the people on a weekly and monthly basis who are the top enrollers for the entire country and global. And so what we love to see is our team members and ourselves on that leaderboard. And so because Zilis is definitely in a growing mode, it takes more to get on the leaderboard now. It takes more effort. It takes more enrollment. So our leaderboard, people on the leaderboard in all of Zilis right now in the top 25, number 6, holding tough since the week they joined, Jason Smith in Tyler, Texas, is this week the only person on our team on the leaderboard for enrollments. And so we want to congratulate them. I know they recently enrolled someone that we helped them show the plan to, came in as in one of our business kits. And so anyway, they've been very consistent since they got on board down there in Tyler, and they have a great team, a lot of leadership there that's helped them by Zoom and by phone. So anyway, we're not going to mention all those names because we'd have to list a string of names of people that are helping them. So,
And I mentioned Tim Sales. One of the things I want to really refer everyone to is to watch the Tim Sales video that I posted, because what really struck me during meditation this morning is when we talk about showing the plan, there's a slide that shows the right team and the left team, starting with 2 people, which leads to each of those finding 2 people. And it's really the duplication of 2 teams. And what came to me is that, as Tim Sales very eloquently unpacked it, that what we're doing is we're helping people understand the transition from just earning wages to creating a true asset. And that acquisition process, Tim Sales talks about, he uses an example of somebody who's earning, say, $10 an hour in a job. And this person says, I get paid X amount of dollars per hour for my job, but when I worked really hard, I only got 1 customer and I got paid $20. And that really resonated with me, because we hear that there's some learning that has to go into becoming productive and gaining a customer or gaining a rep to do this business with us. And that is really what Elevation Call, that's one of the most important things, is that we get together with different voices and we talk about how do we create this, take this mission, what we're passionate about, and how do we actually play it out in the marketplace.
it's a great video. It's a great teaching. I actually did a little bit of that, not even knowing that Lisa was going to be promoting this tonight. I talked about that with a couple of different people today. Someone we're prospecting, and then some of our team. So some people may not know when you talk about Tim Sales, and we're not trying to promote him, but Tim Sales does a lot of teaching on YouTube concerning the network marketing, social marketing, entrepreneurship, businesses like ours. He does not represent Zilis. He has worked in this industry for years. He's an incredible spokesman and teacher for the direct selling industry, multi-level pay. He does just a great job. And we listen to him often as kind of one of our outside mentors. So you can find him on YouTube, but you can also, and this is another teaching point for those of you who are not plugged in as you should be, Lisa posts these kind of things in our Team Unlimited Facebook page. So for those of you who are not regularly going to the Team Unlimited Facebook page to see what we're posting, a lot of it is to point you in the direction and to give you tools and opportunities for you to do self-learning. It also promotes things like the meeting that we had earlier today, kind of a impromptu training that Eva Angelopoulos, our mentor, the probably second or probably the number 2 earner in all of Zilis, literally did an intense training this afternoon on how to get paid, what to do, having the mindset. And we posted that, on Team Unlimited. And for those of you who didn't catch that, sorry you missed it. You got to be plugged in to get that information.
It was recorded.
It was recorded, yeah. But the point is that's where you get that information. Right. We cannot send it out to everybody. We have to post it and let you find it. So anyway.
And so what I want you guys to think about right now, one of the benefits of building a team is that we learn from our team. We learn from you guys. And there's a lot of different ways to acquire customers and reps, people who are actually business partners in this. But one of the things I wanted you guys to just think about is, over the last week or the last month, when you were able to acquire new business, whether that's rep, customer, how did you guys do that? And what setting was that? I did notice on Facebook that Debbie Gentry and Mary Ellen had an amazing display that they were doing some kind of event. And I don't know if Mary Ellen's on. I think Debbie is. So
can I make one statement about this?
Yeah,
so we want to hear from you on how you did it, or what you've done as a unique way, or a multi-tool. So what we want to talk about is consider some of these like a Swiss Army knife, guys. So we're not suggesting that you go out and find a place to do what this person said they did. We're not suggesting if someone says they did something on Facebook that you have to become a Facebook guru or ninja. We're saying you have to have multiple tools that you use on a regular basis. And we want to hear how a few other people have used some of these tools tonight. Is that right?
That's perfect. Yeah.
So we want you to understand that we're not promoting one way of doing things. Some of you use ClickFunnels. Some of you, I don't even know what those are. I don't need to know that in detail right now, but it's a tool that I might want to incorporate, or some of you might want to incorporate. But if that's all you're doing, then basically, is it a one pony, one horse? I don't know. I don't know what you call it, but anyway, you don't have enough tools. So anyway, let's hear from some of our team.
Yeah. One of the things, so Debbie, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, what were you guys doing? I saw a real cool display that you guys were doing.
There was up in Gibson County or Princeton, Indiana, there was a collectors and antique flea market. Mary Ellen secured a booth. It was packed. I think it was one of the first events after COVID. So it was packed, and I'm sure it would have been more packed had it not rained all flippin' day. We happened to be in one of the barns that they had the barn doors open on both ends. So the wind was whistling Dixie all day long. We had our display, and then in the middle of it, we had a fishbowl where we asked them to sign up for a free, we gave away the 1 ounce jar of the topical.
Awesome.
So we got 29 people. It was funny how you would ask them, they swing by and we're not interested. But a lot of the people that we engaged with, that's right there on the Indiana-Illinois line. So it was interesting conversation because in Illinois, medical marijuana is legal. So it was just very interesting conversation, but we got 29 names, prospects. So that's what we split those up, and we had the one winner. So that's what we did. We just had engaging conversation, and just, it was fun watching people. It was not fun freezing to death, but it was fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. So definitely events. We see that with whether it's flea market, or some people have just events that they are privy to. And obviously we haven't had access to that in a while, state fairs, things like that. That is one forum to go create more conversations with people. Does anybody else want to share?
There you go.
Hey, trying to find the mute button. Hi, this is Linda. We've been using the app, girl. We've been using the
You guys
using the app.
Tell us
Tell us about the app that you're using.
Let me move this over because so y'all can hear us a little bit better, I think. So the mobile app, which is a Zilis tool. Each and every one of us have access to it. If you purchase it on an annual, I believe it costs $179. If you purchase it on a monthly, it's $20 a month or $19.99. It's really a way to scale your ability to connect with other people, whether they.
And when she says scale, she means upscale.
Yeah, upscale for other people, whether it be that you're connecting with your prospects or using it as a marketing tool. We do different videos to reach out to different populations of people. Once we make a connection with someone, I will sometimes send out a personal video directly to them. We use it all the time to send flyers and PDFs and the presentation. I bet we sent out the presentation a dozen times this week, either as a second look or a first look or whatever it might be. So using that tool as part of what we do to connect with people.
One of the things that we started implementing a few months ago is that Linda and I prepared a little welcome to Zilis video that introduces ourselves, because we do have, ambassadors that are 120 some odd levels in depth from us that, that are in other states that we haven't met. And we think that it's important to at least introduce ourselves and open that door. And so we put together a little brief video a while back, And so we have been sending it to the new enrollees, the new signups as, hey, welcome to Zilis. This is us. If you have any questions, feel free to give us
We
a
do
call.
that, but I mean, we've had contacts that we've had this week personally that we reached out to personally. So I just want to really encourage everybody to be part of that app because you can really upscale your ability to gather and provide information, pull information in and gather and push information out.
Congratulations to you guys on being recognized.
By the way, for those of you who do not know, the Zilis had a competition with a reward for all of Zilis for the people who sent out the most app. I don't know, what do you call it, Linda? Uses. Let's say.
Most connections, I guess you would say.
And Jim and Linda Ferguson were #1 last week and got that prize. And really, ultimately, it's much more than that for what you guys did with that. So
Anybody else want to share? Thank you guys for sharing that. Anybody else want to share on acquiring a customer or a rep this week or this month?
I didn't acquire a customer, but I would like to say that we held a wild game cookout on the 17th of last month, and we did a lot of things wrong. One is we didn't take names or numbers or anything else. We know we had 50 people there, so this coming Saturday, we're doing a seafood cookout here at the farm, and I've already got my guest book ready to go, and we'll have our Zilis thing, and I like the idea of having a door prize, so we'll do that too.
yeah,
So thank you for your information.
do one door prize and put the value on it and let them know it's a great opportunity. And so on all these, it's follow-up is critical after you get that information and using your upline to help you support that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great, Pat. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Anybody else want to share just in terms of just how you guys have been able to acquire any new business this week, this month?
Hey, Helen, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve and Jenny.
Okay, just a couple things. You know, Steve and I, as a business owner here in Foley, Alabama, we joined the Foley Chamber of Commerce and the Pensacola Chamber of Commerce, and everything that they have now, we go to. We give out cards. We give out, because we're a sleep practice, we give out our dream and the R&R as a door prize. So, you know, we've gotten a couple of great positive responses from that. And just this week, Steve switched hairdressers
I can
because
see that.
Looking
Look at
good,
that.
Steve.
his first hairdresser, she just kind of negative and wasn't interested in the products. So he goes, well, I'm going somebody else. And, you know, he went to this lady, just walked in and she has a pet that she's just worried to death about. So, you know, we talked to her and actually gave her some pet CBD, and we actually gave her some of our Lachey cleanser because her dog has allergies. And so Steve and she together figured out, well, we're going to try some of that Lachey on the dog's skin. So, you know, you just always keep your ears open and just have fun with it. You just meet just really cool stories and fun stories just by sharing this product.
I told her, I said, make sure you get that Lachey and rub it on that skin now. Don't be shy. Just get it on there.
I never thought about that.
So you guys, if I'm getting this right, Steve's like, hey, my hairdresser I've been going to for years won't listen to me on my Zilis story. I'm dropping that person. I'm going elsewhere.
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
has done that. We've done the same thing.
Absolutely.
Here.
Do it. Do it.
You don't have to, if we're loyal to them and they won't listen to us, I'm dropping them like a hot potato. And by the way, Steve, you look more handsome than you ever have.
Thank you. I just hope her dog gets better. She loves that dog. And, you know, she's sitting there cutting my hair and I'm going, okay, how can we help that person and her animal? You know, what can we do? And so I think doing the CBD, the ultrasound with the Lachey and the skin could help it. It has big allergy problems.
But don't y'all tell anybody. We didn't give her a new jar. We gave her the jar of cleanser that we were using. So really it was officially a used jar of Lachey cleanser. But
I love that.
Who else?
We have a really interesting story. I was sitting here, I think it was Thursday morning, and somebody came up up to the door to see Gene, and we ended up inviting him in, and he saw that we said something about CBD. He's like, yeah, I've been taking CBD, so I need to get some. So we sold some in our living room, in our kitchen, CBD, CBG, and we actually showed him the plan yet this morning. This morning, but everything's going together. But yeah, so we're, and we talked about it on this thing today, and we're learning. So yeah, so that was an interesting one. So you never know.
There's so many people on our team that are growing their business and they're working so hard. But I got to tell you, if there was an award that we gave for the people who have honestly worked so hard to grow their business and to grow themselves, we don't have this, but it is going to pay off for the Workmeisters. They absolutely, I'm so proud of you guys and your growth, where you've come from, where you're going. Anyway, we're not going to get off in the weeds on that or into the bunny house, but we're going to that's great for y'all.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes,
really proud of you guys.
Indeed.
Anybody else want to share? Because
can I tell them what I did?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. Dang.
We have some things to report, but I want to set it up first. Did anybody else want to share?
Quick, yeah, Patty, quick story.
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, so we talked about, you get what you focus on, and for the last month, I've been really, really focusing on Zilis. But then what happens is, I think it does get into your subconscious, and then last night I started dreaming about it, and it was so cool because in the middle of the night, I'm sometime, who knows when, but I'm dreaming, and I'm feeling this confidence building up in me in my dream. And when I woke up, it was like, that was cool, God. So it's like, it really truly does, guys. It's what you become. You just pray that you can help other people's, and then other people, and he puts that opportunity in front of you. And I'm kind of on the system right now that I'm just going to keep showing it, keep showing and keep showing, because I know there are other people out there like me. And I'm just going to, the activity is where I'm at now. Just activity, activity, activity. So anyway, it's just really pretty cool when you realize it really is getting down in your spirit when you start dreaming about it. So
Patty,
that's awesome.
You get extra credit for that. And I think, Julia, you have your hand raised. Do you want to share? You're muted.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Oh, there you are. There you are. You're
muted.
Muted
We can't
again.
hear you.
So one more time, Julia, unmute. There you go.
Okay, here we go. You don't have to be tech savvy to win at this business. That's no. Anyway, I got my first shipment, and I had all these free things in there. And I call Lisa and I say, I think they made a mistake. They sent me somebody else's order or something. And she goes, no, that's all the free stuff you got. And I was like, oh my gosh. She said, so are you excited? I said, yeah. She said, post it on Facebook. And I was like, oh, wow, that means I got to show my face or say something. But I did. And I divided it up and I said, these are things I ordered. This is what I got. And I said, what company does this for you? It's changed my life and my health. And if you want to know more about it, and lo and behold, no friend called me last Friday night. And I went over there and got her started on product just because I posted and wasn't afraid of myself.
Awesome. Julia, and that's not all you did, because you actually introduced me to
I did do that.
Call, which a great shout out, because you've done that multiple times and you're fairly new in this business. So great job using the system like that.
Well, I would rather follow somebody that has done it and is doing it like you guys than trying to just muddle through myself. So anyway, thank you.
Congratulations on your new customer. That's
yes.
awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, Lisa, this is Linda again. I was waiting for, I don't know if they've spoken up yet, but I was waiting for Christine Sosa or Lyndon Peterson to tell their wins for the week. Does anybody want to speak up? Because you're not going to, I'm going to.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Lyndon?
Okay, so Christine Sosa enrolled her first ambassador, and she had three people this week on a launch call with us, and 2 follow-ups with that. And Lyndon Peterson had two or three on a launch call this week, and we just sent out a bunch of videos for people for them to watch. So they've been in the action mode big time. Congratulations, guys.
Yes, congratulations.
Hey, Linda, also, would you just, since you brought up launch call, would you tell us what a launch call is?
A launch call. Well, that's really interesting. We found out what that was this week.
Yeah.
So
and speaking of tools that you have in your box that you forget you have.
Yeah. And so we listened last week to Danny Taylor talk about the launch call, and we was like, oh, wow, that's a tool we got to pull out of that box and start using. And so we called Eva and asked her to do her launch call for us so I could take some notes. And then we started trickling it down into the team. And so what a launch call is, guys, it's a phone call that everyone calls into. You do your invite just like you would a regular presentation, but they call into a phone number, and that phone number can just be your Zoom number if you want it to be, rather than your Zoom ID for a Zoom, it's a Zoom phone number. And just call in and you just do a 10-minute overview, and then you set up the follow-up. So it's working really well. We're working out some of the bugs of that, Lisa and Hal, as we do it. But I think we're really kind of creating it into a great big claw hammer. I think it's going to work really well.
Very good. And would you agree that the purpose for new people or people who are ready to reignite their business is to invite as many people to hear a very short overview from people who have successfully built the business? That's a tool that leverages the experience and success of those who have done it in a short time frame to create what? Follow up and greater opportunity to present for new people, instead of our new people doing nothing or running out and what we call vomiting over everybody, their excitement, enthusiasm, and too much information, right?
Well, the whole thing too is that rather than trying to get somebody to sit down on a 30 or 40-minute Zoom presentation where, people are, I think, have a little bit of Zoom fatigue, tired of being on camera, tired of that type of thing. But a 10-minute phone call, everybody's got 10 minutes for a phone call, and just to check their interest, after 10 minutes, if they don't hear something that's interesting to them, well, you'll know in 10 minutes rather than in 45.
In talking with Eva, the whole thing is to get all of us doing our own launch calls. So certainly, we're all, calling in and letting someone do the call for us, but this is really duplicatable. So I look forward to sharing more with you as we kind of,
teaching.
as it's part, kind of the petri dish of what we're doing.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys so much.
So now y'all have heard like 5 different ways, besides the really obvious way of adding people's names, and that's just meeting people and getting their name and number. Anyway.
And one of the reasons that we really wanted to discuss this is because, as Hal mentioned, there's so many different ways of creating new volume, new customers, new reps. There's no one right way, and there might be one way you love to do, and there's nothing wrong with doing the one thing that you do really, really well. But we want to kind of bring it up in the context of that Tim Sales video that I mentioned to you, because he talks about the difference between those who go to the Olympics and win and those who don't win, those who lose. And he talks about it in the context of those who win have been able to survive the boredom of the repetitions to get good at their sport better than anyone else. And so what you're looking at with Zilis, all those different things that we've talked about are just repetitions. Those are just ways of achieving that end goal of building the asset with Zilis, because every customer you gain is your asset. Every rep you gain is your asset, and it has the ability to scale into something very, very large. Something that Hal and I really didn't fully appreciate until the pandemic.
And which we've talked about, in the fact that we built an asset, and the asset is thousands of people regularly using Zilis products, and hundreds of people who we've helped share those products. And so our team builders and our customers who use products, in a way, when you look at it from the strict business or investment sense, become an asset for you that continues to pay you. And so you invest early, you invest often, repetitively in people, in opportunity, in your business. And in the end, it creates an asset that at least is sustainable, but hopefully then will continue to compound interest, compoundly, grow, multiply over time. But in the beginning, it is very slow. And so repetition. Talked to a new guy today in some training on a new enrollee on our team. And we talked about not swinging for the fences all the time, trying to hit a home run every time you go to the plate, but appreciating base hits. In baseball terms, it's called small ball. Moving from, we talk about that in our trainings on Saturday for new people, just getting a base hit. And 3 out of 10 is a good average to get a base hit. And you move from first base to second base, and then you count on your team to get another base hit to move you around to the next corner. So, by the way, I just saw Bethany's on the call.
Hey,
Welcome,
Bethany. Welcome to Bethany.
Hey there.
Awesome. Great.
She's
I
rocking.
had a little something to say. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who you got on your hip,
Who you got on your hip?
There's number 2 and there's number 1 in high heels. What do you know?
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
love those heels. Thank you for joining us.
Talk to us, Bethany, a little bit.
So I was in the business for about 3.5 months, and I had gotten a couple wholesales. And I reached out to somebody, a certain Mrs. Smith, about, do you want to get on the product? Do you have anything going on? Can I help you? And we went back and forth for a good, we're falling. We went back and forth for a good little while, and I couldn't quite seem to close the deal. And then she starts asking about, well, what about the business side? I didn't even talk to her about the business side. And lo and behold, that is the Jason and Julie Smith who are on the leaderboard. That's just kind of some encouragement, even though it's a slow start, we can still get, people doing it. So now I'm working on getting someone on the other side. So, it's kind of a cool story because we can do it, even if it takes a little while. Keep on going, right?
That's a great story, Bethany. Thank you.
Yeah, Bethany. And you know what, Bethany, impressed me about you is that you did not shy away from reaching out to me. Even though you and I had not met, you reached out to me, and you were very persistent because you were doing a form of repetition through messaging that I wasn't really even familiar with, and I'm like, I don't think I'm a good match because I really don't, I don't know what you're doing. And you were just very persistent. And there's something about your energy. I loved that you never gave up. What kept you going?
Well, I don't have a diamond behind me yet. So I'm going for the diamond. I want that lifestyle. I want everything that comes with it. So keep on pushing, right?
That's great. You're
Absolutely.
doing it for those kids and for your future. And that's awesome. So what a great story, guys. So she had somebody, like you said, who she was sharing the product with, and she was wise when Julie said, hey, tell me about the business. Because as soon as she did, Julie and Jason, especially Jason, got launched, and they have been on the top 5 leaderboard, top 10 for sure, every week for the last month and a half since they've been on board. So anyway,
thanks sharing, Bethany.
For sharing.
And that's a great example. But one of the things I asked Hal to do is we have, when we learn something, we always want to share it with you guys because we would love to cut time off your learning curve. And many of you guys know that Texas and Arkansas suffered from some really, really cold temperatures this past winter. And through those cold temperatures, we had some damage to our beautiful hardwood floors that we had just moved into the house. And Hal and his beautiful attitude said, something really good is going to happen from this. And we just got back from spending a week in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And I wanted to have Hal unpacked kind of why Fort Smith and what were the different tools, the repetitions, the different parts of the Swiss Army knife that we did this last week, just to kind of give you a recap.
Oh, thank you for letting me do this. So, I want to do this in story form as much as possible to just tell you the story of the last week, I guess, a little over a week. Lisa's correct. We had a flood. It was a little bit my fault, along with cold weather several weeks ago. And so it's been a long process to get our floors taken care of, hardwood floors. And but part of that was we had to be gone for a week. And we thought about, well, do we travel to Indiana? Do we travel somewhere? And what we knew is we really needed to be fairly close to home to make sure that they got the floors right. But we had to be completely out of our house. And so Fort Smith is where Lisa and I are from. It's an hour from here. It's close enough to drive back. We have family there. We have team there. My sister Holly, who's a regional ambassador that most of you know, it's her home. My mom's in Van Buren. And it's volume on our left leg that we really need to build to stay balanced with our team. And so we wanted to support the team. We have some great leaders there, Pat and John Poole. I'm not going to mention everybody, but the Pooles hosted an event. So here's the thing. Going into the week, I told Lisa, I said, let's just make this the best week we can make it in every way. Let's really have a great positive attitude about going and leaving our home. And at the end of the week, we were gone a full week, stayed down there. Lisa found a great condo. We could go into all of that as far as like the beauty of the place, some restaurants we ate at, some really neat things about our hometown we'd never seen before. But here's the thing. At the end of the week, as we came home, I told Lisa, I think this is the best week that I have had in Zilis since my early couple of months in Zilis. It's been the best. And as we talked about it, one of it, I really believe it had to do with our attitude, because this could have been we could have had a really sour attitude about having to do this. So that's a part of it. But it was really good because we had the intention, Lisa and I did, of sponsoring new people ourselves and literally setting up appointments for people that we wanted to bring in front line, show the business to, get in front of personally. But at the same time, because we have some team down there, we knew that we wanted to help them build their teams and to do some training. And so we were able to set that up. We have a fairly new person who's been on product a while, but who got engaged way down in depth from us, Janice, who's on the call tonight, who really just stepped up and said, I really think I want to build this business. I want to do it more than I have. And she did. She got people together at our condo on Friday night. There was about 7 or 8 of us. She brought some snacks, probably too many snacks, but anyway, it was great. We brought some home, but you know what? She upgraded that night. One of the people that she brought joined at bronze. Another man who was very skeptical because of he didn't understand the THC factor with product. And so we got to discuss that with him, and he ended up buying retail from her that night. And so that was a really good part of us being there. But the point is that we went with the intention we're going to build our personal business, and we will help our team who says they want our help. We're not going to try to stir up people who don't want our help. We met with probably, I would say, 6 different people down there, as well as a great meeting that Pat and John Poole hosted on, what night was that?
That was on Wednesday night. And I want to just say that, a lot of people say, well, I don't have a team yet. Do I need to do weekly meetings? I mean, you guys, the whole purpose of doing weekly meetings is really to help the team engage. That's what Stephen Thompson says. And, we went to Pat and John's beautiful facility, and they were able to host different teams that were actually at this event. No guests, no prospects, but we have different levels of engagement in this business. And some of our product users didn't know how to change their auto ship. Some of our users really didn't know how to get into their back office. Some of them really didn't know what CBG was for and about the mimetics lines. And hey, tell us about this new precision spectrum. I mean, what's the difference between CBN and CBC? And so there's really some value in just getting face to face with people who are in the Zilis family. And that's what I loved about Wednesday night.
But then the other thing that happened, and I think all of you will relate to this, maybe not all of you, probably some, maybe not some of our new people, but folks that have been involved in a while. So I got to have a couple of conversations with people who've been in the business a while who may be a little frustrated. Well, no, let's just be honest, real frustrated with the fact that nobody's showing up to the meetings they're inviting people to. And I think in a number of cities around that's the case. And that happened a couple of times where people were disappointed. There were our ambassadors there, but there were no guests there. And so I got to have, and it was one of the most, I think one of the best parts of the meeting is that I got to sit down with a couple of people after the meeting and have a heart-to-heart with them. And what we discovered is they really do want to build the business. But what they're very aware of now is it requires them to basically go one-on-one and make more presentations and to personally talk to more people. It's not going to work to spend 4 hours or 3 hours or 45 minutes just trying to invite a bunch of people to a meeting that Hal and Lisa or Jim and Linda or Steve and Jenny or whoever are going to go present for. That doesn't work. The way those rooms get filled in any city is by having one-on-one or launch calls to set up one-on-ones and doing that. And so I was very encouraged by the receptivity of the people that we talked to on that.
And the other thing was just an event which was like $13,000 in product that we have, the damage that was done with the insurance company. Like $13,000. Seriously, I mean, of course, we're going to have some insurance coverage for that. But what could have been a really negative sticker shock has brought how many new people into our lives?
A bunch. And so, like, one of the examples of that we talk about, how do you get people to talk to? So the week started, Lisa and I were going to go to Fort Smith on Sunday, but we had to be out of our house on Saturday. Well, we said, we're going to stay here home, close to home, in a hotel. So Lisa starts looking for places to stay and they're all booked. I mean, every hotel that I'm familiar with in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is a bunch, were booked. And we're like, what are we going to do? And so we ended up booking a hotel and turned out, honestly, not to be the best hotel. Okay. It is a reason it wasn't booked. But we went, oh man, that's a story in itself, I'm telling you. But anyway, we were very grateful. I think we had the best attitude we could about it. I couldn't sleep. I literally started my week with not being able to sleep, just mainly because of the smell in the room. But anyway, it was horrible. But I got up and had coffee the next morning, getting ready to go, head out. And there was a couple of other early risers, other men up early and in the lobby. And I was sitting out there and this one guy, he's having a conversation back behind me. And I just kind of turned around and nodded my head to something he said. And as he walked by, I said, hey, come here. I said, hey, come here. And I could tell he was the kind of person that might, hey, come over. He was a Razorback fan. So we ended up having a great conversation. Lisa came, met him later as we were leaving the hotel. I texted him about our Jeep that was in the parking lot. So he waited for us when we left. Long story short, we ended up showing him the plan on Zoom. And he lives in another city here in Arkansas. And he ended up joining our team, coming in at gold a few days later, wanting to build the business. And we've been trying to train him up ever since. Point is, sometimes you have to go something like this. Hey, come here. I need to talk to you. Just something like that. You just got to talk to people. And I've done that many times and gotten nowhere. But every once in a while, when you say, hey, come here, let me talk to you about something, so anyway, that's what happened too.
Well, and so we actually met two people at that hotel, the guy who checked us in as a young man, and then Frank.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as we continued, we were able to focus on the people that were actually related to that Fort Smith Van Buren team.
Mm-hmm.
Helped your mom set up a wholesale customer, spent a lot of time with that. And then we continued just using LinkedIn, using Facebook contacts, did a lot of Zoom meetings. It was just an incredibly productive meeting with a
Yeah.
lot of new people.
I met one-on-one for coffee with a friend who used to live in the town we're in now, lives down there. I've really been trying to get with her and her husband for over a year. I wasn't sure that she would want to talk about CBD. I didn't know really what we would talk about. But when we got together for coffee, that's what she wanted to talk about. She wanted to talk about it. She'd been using some, hadn't really worked well for her. She knew I was doing it. We had a great conversation, gave her some more information. Hopefully you guys will get this and be encouraged by the fact that you just keep swinging. You just keep swinging. You keep doing the action. And
And I want to read you guys. This is from Angela Hawkins, who I want to give a shout out that she never, ever quits working to move her business forward. And she said, one thing I realized is that the most important thing for me to do is to do something.
wow.
And that was so profound, Angela. You might not think that I read all of your texts, but I do. And so the whole point of these, each activity that we do, whether it's conversation, wholesale customer, Zoom meeting, LinkedIn, contact, Facebook, you guys, it's really all about doing something. And those are all the repetitions that sometimes create fatigue, sometimes might get repetitious, but that is what ultimately moves this business forward. And I think about it as moving product. If you can get product in someone's hand, creating conversations, that product does the heavy lifting.
So yeah, and speaking of that, we need to wrap it up. But remember, I asked you to remind everyone about that one goal that everyone can do every day, because you brought it to us last week. And what is that one goal that we want everyone to do and meet every day? What is that?
That's one quality conversation
a day.
A day.
One quality conversation about your business, what they want out of life. Remember, it doesn't have to be about you promoting Zilis. A quality conversation could be you asking someone you hadn't talked to before or in a while if they're getting everything out of life they want, if they're healthy, if they're financial, if they're being financially fulfilled, and you listen to them. That is a quality conversation. So it's quality conversation doesn't mean you're setting up an appointment necessarily. It could, but it could also be the precursor. Right. The first contact could be a quality conversation. One a day is a great goal for everyone. So
the other reps, as you guys know, three-way phone calls are critical. Just educating, follow up. Showing the plan is what Stephen says makes us all ambassadors. It's the showing of the plan. And as Linda and Jim said, it could be 10 minutes on a launch call. It could be the whole plan. That could be 20 minutes. It could be 45 minutes, but that is really the work in doing this business. And as Eva said, her question to everyone, and especially to Jean and Lorena, who were brave enough to ask her and to be very honest with her, she said, what are you willing to do to make it happen? What are you willing to do, maybe to give up, in order to start creating the asset of Zilis? We are here to help each and every one of you guys with that.
That I was on the call when they were asked that, and the generic answer is what Jean gave. It didn't surprise me. Everybody says, well, whatever it takes. We're at the point, we'll do whatever it takes. But when she pressed a little harder on that, I don't know what they started thinking, what they were going to have to give up. Eva's example was she watched football. Eva loves football, like football. But she had to give that up. And so I could see and feel for the people that were on that call with Eva earlier, like looking at themselves, looking in the mirror, looking at each other. What do we need to give up that's not producing for us? What do we enjoy? What has our life been built around that really doesn't help us build our financial future? What do we have to give up? And I'll tell you, there is no investment in anything of any kind, in the stock market, in a business, in a relationship, in this business, in anything. There is absolutely no investment that's going to give you a return that you don't have to give up considerable amount in the beginning, whether it's money, time, energy, letting go of some of the things that you have, quote, enjoyed for so long. When you look at this as a business, you have to look at time and money that you're putting into it. And like Lisa was saying earlier, Some of us expect to get an immediate return, just like we get paid for a job. Well, that's a job. That's not a residual income investment. And so you have to get to that tipping point, which is another topic, but you have to keep going till you get to the point where you kind of tip over, all your energy starts going in the direction of gain.
Absolutely, that tipping point. So you guys, we're going to wrap here, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. But I just want to be reminding everyone that we do have Team Unlimited. We actually, my son Nate transitions these Zoom meetings. He uploads them to YouTube and sometimes to podcasts as well, so that you can actually get notified every time we have one. If you're not able to listen to it live, we want to make sure that everyone is subscribed.
So can I just point out, and we say this pretty often, but if you go to YouTube and look for Team Unlimited Live, you may actually come across a rap band called Team Unlimited. And so don't be frustrated. Keep looking for Team Unlimited Live. It's just the facts of life in this virtual world that there's a rap band called Team Unlimited. So for some of you who have been frustrated with, I can't find it, or I found one or two. I know Christine Henley pointed it out to us, which I appreciate. You know, she gets half us and half this rap band or something. I don't know. I haven't listened to them, but I know they're there. Anyway.
So we're going to stop the recording. Anybody have questions or comments?